Okay, so last section we're going to look at for this week, this year, pretty much this is it, 5.7. So 5.7, kind of like what we did in 5.6. It's just we ended 5.6 on Thursday. We didn't have enough time to fit this in on a couple academic weeks ago Friday. So we'll finish up with it now. So how do you know something is an inequality versus an equation? What's the difference? Right. There's one of those four signs, like a less than, greater than. Okay, you have one of those in place of an equal sign. All right? So, system of inequality. Right? So we did systems of equations. We spent like pretty much the whole third term on that. That's when we did like substitution, we did elimination. How many equations were we always solving when we had a system of them? 2. So we're going to be doing exactly the same thing, except this time it's just going to be a system of 2 inequalities. And we're not going to use substitution. We're not going to use elimination. All we're going to do is draw it and shade above or shade below. So it's going to be a lot. It's all we got to do. Okay? So a system of inequalities is a set of 2 or more. I think most of the time it's going to be 2. I mean, it could be 3 or 4, but we're going to stick with 2 most of the time. And they use the same variables. So like if the first one uses x's and y's, so will the second one. All right, so can somebody give me an example of an inequality? It can be in y, it can be like the ymx plus b, it can be in a different form, just anything with x's and y's, numbers, and an inequality sign. Anyone make one up? Yeah. Y is less than 1. Yep. Plus 3. Perfect. So that's an inequality. It's not a system because we don't have 2 of them. All right? So let's put another one. Y is greater than negative 4x minus 8. There you go. That's a system. This would be an easier system to do because it's already got y by itself. If it didn't, you'd have to fix it. Okay? So any questions on what a system is? Okay. All right. So now we're on the part on your notes where you gotta write some stuff down. Okay. So steps for graphing an inequality. First thing you got to do, make sure y is by itself. Remember, it's not going to have an equal sign. Right? It's going to have either a less than, greater than, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to. Okay. The asterisk part, you already got that on your notes. You just need what's in bold. Right. This part you don't have to write down. I'm just reminding you we already looked at that. Nothing needs to be changed if it already looks like this. If y is by itself, and then you have the number with x first, and then the number without x second, you're good to go. All right. So if not, okay. So now this goes in the box. If it looks something like that. It doesn't have to be exactly these numbers and letters, but I would just copy that down. If you've got something where x and y are on the same side, then we have to fix it. Okay, so in the box, you guys have a line with a bullet next to it. Move x after the equal sign by doing the opposite operation. I don't remember what it was in the warm-up exactly. It might have been we had to do a plus 6x, minus 6x. It was something like that. Okay, but here you would do a minus 2x. That would move the x to the other side. Okay. I think in the one we did in the warm-up, there was a number next to y. I think it was a 3, because I remember 3, it went into everything evenly. So if there was a number attached to y, we would divide everything by that number. Now, whenever you're dividing an inequality by a number, is there any time that something special can happen that you have to remember?
Anything can happen.
Think about when you do division with inequalities.
Oh, the sign.
The sign can flip.
If it's divided, right?
If you divide by a negative. Yep. So keep that in mind. If you forget to flip it, it's not like when you type something in on the calculator, it's going to give you like an error or something. It's still going to work. So if you forget to flip it, you're just going to forget to flip it. It's not like anything bad is going to happen when you try to solve it. It's still going to work. Okay? So just remember, if you multiply or divide by a negative, you need to flip the sign. Okay? We've written that. We might be writing it later on, but we've written that 20 times this year, so I'm not going to write it down again. Okay. Step 2. Now you've got your equation in y equals mx, or you got y, mx, and b. Now you're ready to graph it. Okay, so remember, when you're graphing it, b is your y-intercept. That means you just start at that number on the y-axis. If b is a positive, you go up. If b is a negative, you go down. So b is the y-intercept. Someone remind me again, what's m?
X-intercept?
The slope.
Nope, slope.
The slope.
Yep. So m is your slope. How do you know it's the slope? It's the one with the x. Okay, whatever the number is in front of the x. So remember, you need the slope because once you plot your y-intercept, that tells you which way to go to get more points. You're either going to go up and to the right, or you're going to go down and to the right. Okay, we always go to the right. It just makes it easier. Right? So you can write all that down. The only time I would go left is if I was like on the edge of my graph and I needed more points and I didn't have any room to go right, then you could go the other way. But to keep it simple, we go up if it's positive, down if it's negative, and we always try to go to the right. They only go to the left if you completely run out of room, right? So like let me just go back to the warm-up for a second. On these, I had plenty of room to go down and to the right. Could I go up and to the left? Sure. If you have to go the other way, you can. Right. But just make sure you don't mix up your positives and negatives. Okay, which way is up, down, which way is left, right. Okay, so after you got your dots, now you're going to put in your line. Two things you have to decide when you're drawing your line. You have to decide, should we make it solid? Should we make it dotted? All right? Let me see if we have that chart. No. So what I'll do, just so it's in the video, I'm going to go back to that chart again that shows which ones are solid, which ones are dotted, and then what direction you shade. Okay, so I'm gonna come right back to step 3 in a second. Okay. But if you need that chart again, here's.
I don't care.
You alright, you said? Okay, I told you I'm gonna come right back to it if you didn't get it. So remember, less than or equal to, shade below. Greater than or equal to, shade above. If it's got the little line under it, that's how I remember that it's solid. If it doesn't have the little line, dotted. All right. So now, once you finish step 3, you're going to have one of your lines drawn. Okay, what do I mean by one of your lines? Well, we're going to have two. We're going to have two lines we're going to draw. Most of the time, they're going to make an X shape, okay, kind of like this. It is possible that the lines could be parallel. They could. They could look like that. Okay, but I would say most of the time, they're going to make an X shape. So, do steps 2 and 3 for your first one. Do steps 2 and 3 for your second inequality. And now the last step is to shade. Now, the shading, we have to kind of plan ahead a little bit. Okay. Let's say you drew a line, and the answer to that one was to shade above. This is how we're going to shade above. All we're going to do temporarily is go like this. I'm just putting arrows indicating which way I would shade. You'll see why I didn't shade yet. Because then you're going to draw your second line. And maybe the answer to that one is shade below. Below, 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 below. Now we're going to shade it. What we want to shade is where they overlap. Okay, so like in this one, that's right here. That's all you want to shade. So when you have an X shape, you usually end up only shading in one of the X's. Because remember, I had to be above, let's just make this in red. I had to shade above the red, and I had to shade below the black. That's the only section that's above the red and below the black at the same time. Okay. Over here, well, it's below the black, but it's also below the red. No. Over here, no. We want it to be above the red. Over here, it's below the red. Up here, well, up here you're above the red, but you're also above the black. And the arrow said below the black. Okay. So that's why we don't shade right away. Okay? All right, so, well, I guess we have this chart anyway. So everybody has the regular cases already filled in?
That's right.
All right, special cases. Okay, remember, special cases, the way you know it's a special case, you don't have both letters at the same time. Just a Y or just an X.
Okay.
If it's just a Y, like Y is greater than 3, Y is less than 5, something like that, that's horizontal. If it's just an X, X is less than 5, X is greater than -2, X is greater than or equal to 3, okay, something like that, just an X is vertical. Now, I'm going to add, because you got a little room on there.
No.
Shading, a little different. I mean, it's pretty similar, okay? What did we say for greater than? Where do you shade? Yeah, where's it tell you to? Above. Now, Y is horizontal. That looks like this. When you have a horizontal line, is there a part that's above and a part that's below? Yeah. All right. So shading is the same. Greater than or equal to, above. Less than or equal to, below. Vertical. Vertical is up and down. Do you have an above and a below when it's vertical? What do you have instead of above and below? You have a left and a right. Okay? This one's simple. You just shade the way that it points. If it's question? Why are we talking? So less than or equal to, you're going to shade left. Okay, so when you have less than or equal to with a vertical, above and below doesn't make as much sense. Greater than or equal to, shade right. So when it's verticals, just look at the way that it's pointing. Shade left or shade right.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so as long as we know how to graph it, make it solid or dotted, shade above and below, that's pretty much all we need to know. Okay, so now we'll just look at a few examples. Everyone's got the special case? Okay. All right, what do, yeah. Yeah. Okay. What do they want us to do in example 1? Read the directions carefully. Do what?
Find or compare that solution to the inequality.
Okay, that's half of what they want us to do.
Graph the system.
Graph. So don't forget that last thing. The thing that you should said first, right? First, we're going to graph it. Then we're going to write a solution. Okay? A hint, a solution is any point that ends up in the shaded area. Any point at all in the shaded area. So we don't have a shaded area yet, so let's start. Y is greater than or equal to 3. Regular case or special case?
I think regular. Special.
Yeah. This is special because it doesn't have the x in it. So we're not going to look for like slope. We're not going to look for y-intercept. This one's special. So, Nigeli, how do I graph that?
That would be.
Look back at your notes if you need to. What kind of line is that?
Oh, yeah.
So eventually, yes, it's going to be a solid. How about in terms of the special case? What other kind of line is it?
Horizontal line.
Horizontal, yeah. Horizontal line. Horizontal line where? At what number?
3.
3. So go up 3 and put a horizontal line right there. Now, Nigeli already told us what kind of line. What kind is it? The horizontal, we got that. What else?
Solid.
Solid. Horizontal line at 3. Donovan, what do I have to decide next?
Where to shade?
Okay. Where should I shade?
That's a great question.
I know, that's what they pay me to ask. Great questions. Not good questions, great questions.
Above the line.
I'm going to shade above. Now, remember, I'm not going to shade yet because I don't know if it's everything above the line or just a certain area. So I'm just going to go like this.
Arrows.
Okay. Just put arrows so you temporarily remember, okay, shade above when you're done.
Alright, we gotta do the next one.
Now we're going to do the next one.
That's right.
Regular case, special case.
Right.
Regular. So regular case. What's the first number you look at? 4. What do you do with the 4? Put a dot where? At 4. Okay, we got a dot at 4. Now what? Go where? Up 5, over, I'm confused. Okay, to the right. Now I'm probably only going to be able to do that one time.
No, you're not confirmed.
I know. Go up 5, right 1. Now, this is a case that if you wanted to get another dot, because you can't go up 5 more, you could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, You could do that.
That's one word.
Gives you another dot. Now what?
Like a line.
What kind of line?
Horizontal. Horizontal.
Nope.
Dotted line.
Dotted. Remember,
That's smart.
it's going to go through those green dots. That's not a special case. So it's not horizontal or vertical.
Diagonal.
Donovan, what did I just say? Are you having a little trouble today focusing? Warm.
What?
May.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would thought we did. She's happy. She's thinking about that bread. We want that bread.
All right. So I can't draw it dotted right away. So I'll make it solid. Then I'm going to change it.
Wait, why can't you do that right away?
I don't know. It just always does it solid. Then I can fix it after.
Oh, I thought you just meant like I. Like that line.
So there's my
Oh yeah.
dotted line.
Let's go to let's see.
Now what do I have to decide?
Shade.
Okay. Less than. Where do we shade for that? That's only if it's up and down. Below. Okay, guys, we're going right to the end. We're not going to have any extra time for homework today, because I can tell this is not going to be productive if I give you extra time.
What do you mean?
So I'm just going to teach right till the bell today.
Why?
Yeah, I'm going right till 9:13. Because I can tell people are just not really focused. This is not a good one. So if I give you time to do homework, it's just people are just going to just do nothing. So I'll treat you like little kids and try to keep you on task the best I can. All right. So, oh my God, where do I have to shade now? It's not everybody. It's just some people are having a little trouble. Some people are doing okay. Where should I shade? Yep. Right. Top right. Right. You kind of got 4 sections to decide. You could shade here, 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 or here. It's one of those 4 sections. Joe said it perfect. It's the top right. Above the solid to the, it's kind of below the dotted. So shade in there. So the only difference between this and what we did like 2 weeks ago is before you only had to draw 1 line and shade, now you're drawing 2 lines and shade. Okay. Any questions on that? Now, what else do they want us to do?
Write an ordered pair that is a solution to the inequality.
Right. Write ordered pair that is a solution to the inequality. So could somebody give me an ordered pair that would be a solution to that inequality? Yeah?
3, 1. Or 3, 1.
3, nope, that's not in the shaded area.
So like,
It's got to be in the shaded area.
so would it be like 1, 3, or would it? 1, 4. Oh,
Let's try 1, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
okay.
Let's check it. X is 1, Y is 4. What's 5 times 1?
1.
5.
5. 5 plus 4? 9. Is Y is 4. Is 4 less than 9? Yeah. Let's try it up here. What's Y? 4. Is 4 greater than or equal to 3? Yes. So it does work. If you picked a point that wasn't in the shaded area, it wouldn't work in both. It might work in one, but it wouldn't work in both. Somebody give me another point besides 1, 4 that would work. 2, 5. Yep. 2, 5. Anywhere in the shaded area is fine. Now, how about if it's a solid line? Can you be on the line with the point or no? Yes. If it's solid, you can be right on the line, and that's okay. What about if it's dotted? No. So if it's dotted, like I wouldn't pick that green point right there because it's right on the line. Okay? So to be safe, don't pick a point that's on a line. Just pick a point that's in the shading, okay, into the section. Now, does the shading stop, like right on the edge of the screen there? No, the shading keeps going to the right and to the and up forever. It just keeps shading, but that's the only room I have on the screen. Okay. Any questions on that? All right, so we'll try a couple more of those, and then we're going to do one that's backwards. Like, I'll give you this picture, and I'll say, all right, you tell me the two equations that it came from. I'll give you the picture, and you'll tell me these two. Okay? I think that's can be easier, because then you don't have to draw anything. You just have to write something. Okay, let's try this one. All right, so 2x plus y is greater than 3, and y is greater than 1/3 x minus 3. Okay. Is one of those equations ready to go?
No.
Yes.
Yeah, which one is okay?
Bottom one.
All right, let's just handle that one first. We'll come back to the top one later. So how am I going to graph the bottom one? Step 1.
I'll look at -3.
Yep, look at the -3, and then what?
Go to -3.
Go down 3. Put a dot, down 3.
All right, that's cool.
Now what? I got a dot down 3. You use the rise over run. What's the rise? 1. What's the run?
3.
Yep, good job. So now rise is 1 which way? Up 3. Right. So you get enough room. You could do that a couple times. Up 1, right 3. Up 1, right 3. Up 1. That's good enough. Again, if you want to go back the other way, you can, but that's probably enough. What kind of line here? Solid or dotted? Dotted. So we're going to make that dotted. Now, where are we going to shade?
We shape below.
Because it's greater than
So
above. Now, if this was a problem we were doing a few weeks ago, I would just shade in this whole thing right now and be done. But I'm just going to put in the little arrows. Shade above. Just so I remember, okay? Shade above. Now, what's wrong with that other one? 2x plus y is greater than 3.
It's not lined up right.
It's not lined up. What's in the wrong spot?
Y. And the 3.
Y is okay, because we want y on the left.
Oh, the 2x is like an
We don't want the 2x on the left.
minus that.
Minus it. Now, I'm minusing it. Should I flip my sign?
No.
I thought with negatives I flipped the sign.
I know, but there's no negative.
Only when you divide. Yeah, when you multiply, not when you subtract. So, what's going to happen to the 2x if you subtract it? It's going to become what? Negative. Anything else still on the right?
y greater than 3
Plus 3.
plus 2.
All right. How do I graph that?
Go down 2 and over 3.
Nope. First thing we got to do is start with your y-intercept.
Go to 3.
Go to 3.
Right now.
So go to 3. Now what?
Go down 2
Down 2, right 1. Now it doesn't matter if you get a dot right on the line. It just keep going right through the line. Down 2, right 1. That's enough.
1, 2, right 1.
Solid or dotted? Shade above, shade below. Above. Greater than is above. Okay? So shade above and make it dotted.
What is it?
Wait, has it dotted?
Yep, dotted. Now,
Confused with all these lines.
just put this in the right spot. Make it dotted. And where did we just say? Shade above. So now you've got like an X shape. what section of the X shape am I shading in? Yeah, it's not always going to be the top right, but this one just happens to be top right. You want to shade to the right and above. So shade that area right there. You don't have to shade it. I mean, if you have a highlighter or something and you want to do it nice, you can, but that's good enough. Okay. Now, if you said, well, why not over here? Well, you're above one of the lines, right? You are above the lower one, but you also had to be to the right of the other ones. Okay. Any question on that one? Anything else I need to do?
No.
Right, in order to pair that into a solution to the inequality.
Yeah, so that basically means give me an ordered point that's where?
In this area.
Anywhere in the shade. Okay. This time, could you be on the first line?
No.
No. Could you be on the second line? No. Don't pick a point on the lines. Just pick a point in the shading.
3, 5.
Let's see. 3, 5. That looks good to me. 1, 2, 3. Yep. What if they wanted another point in the shading?
I think they would only ask for 1.
It does. Like a what if?
7, 5.
7, 5.
Oh my god.
How about 0, 3? Would that work? No, 0, 3. That, remember, that was our y-intercept. That was right on the line. Okay, so that one wouldn't work.
Oh, those are special cases.
How many special cases? They're both special. What kind of lines are y with just a y? These are both horizontal. So what does that mean when you draw them?
They're going to be horizontal.
They're going to be parallel. What does that mean? What don't they do?
Touch.
They're not going to touch, right? They're not going to cross. They're not going to intersect. So what that means is we're going to have two horizontal lines and not an X shape.
Oh my.
Start with the first one. Y is less than -4. That's a horizontal line where? -4. Matt, what kind of line? And I'm going to ask why. Right, there's no line underneath. Okay? There's no line underneath, make it dotted. And where am I putting it? -4. I'm just going to draw it by hand. And I'll just make it dotted after like that. Okay. Shade above or shade below?
I think above.
For this symbol,
Oh.
lower than means shade less than, below.
Stop it, Joe.
How about the other line? Where is that one? Yeah?
4.
4? Solid or dotted?
Would it be dotted?
Yeah? Where do I shade this time? Above. Greater than means shade above.
We have crisis. We have crisis. Run away. Shade in the middle.
Would we shade in between?
So where's the overlap? Where do the shadings overlap? There is one. There isn't one. Right? The bottom one wants me to shade under. The top one wants me to shade above. There's no way that I can shade and be in the same spot. That has no solution. Think about that without sketching it. In your head, think of a number that's bigger than 4, and the number you think of has to be smaller than -4. Can that happen? No. That's like me saying, I want you to think of a number in your head that's bigger than 0, but it also has to be less than -10. You can't.
Oh.
Or if I said, think of a number that's bigger than 5 and smaller than 0. You can't. If it's bigger than 5 It's not smaller than 0. So this one is no solution. What could you do to make this one have a solution? If you flipped both of these symbols, right? If this one pointed that way and this one pointed that way, where would you end up shading inequities? Right. If the arrows lined up where the top one said shade below and the bottom one said shade above, then you would be shading in the middle. Okay? So that could happen on the test. If you get one like this, you could end up shading in the middle. Now, you can also get the same thing with vertical. You can have two vertical lines. Sometimes you shade in the middle. Sometimes the arrows are going opposite ways, and there's no solution. Okay. So any questions on that? All right. So when I asked you guys, find a solution or find an ordered pair that's a solution, and I said, well, what if they wanted another one? What if they wanted another? There's infinitely many. Any point that's in the shaded area is a solution. So there's infinitely many. Now, what do we have to do on this one?
Solve for y. Rearrange y equation.
Okay, so we gotta have to rearrange, but just the directions. They're just telling us to do what?
What?
Just the direction, graph, that's it. Do they say find an ordered pair that's a solution?
No.
Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Just graph it. Okay. Is there one of these we can graph right now, not mess around with it?
The top one? Bottom.
No, they're both, we have to fix both of them before we can graph?
Top one is good.
Top one's okay.
Top one is good.
How, Yusuf, how do I graph the top one?
Alright, so you can go to negative 1.
Okay, how do I do that?
Go down to the middle.
Okay, start in the middle.
And then go down.
Down 1, okay. Then what?
Create a dotted line. Okay, outline.
Just put a dotted line. Okay.
No. Outlaw. Oh yeah, you have to go down 2 and then right.
Down 2, right 1. Why down?
What? That's negative.
Because it's negative. Okay, do it. If you get enough time to do it a couple times, do it a couple. Now what? Brady, what do I do now?
I'm not sure. Dot line.
Why? Not sure? So he said dotted line. How can anybody tell me why dotted? Why not solid?
It's not a line under the inequality.
Right. There's no line under the inequality. So I'm just going to draw this one by hand. Should look dotted. Alright. Now what? Not yet. One more thing. Yeah, we do have to do that.
Oh, the arrows thing.
Yeah, which way?
Vertical?
Below.
Below. Less than? Shade below. Now, if this was a problem from a couple weeks ago, I'd be done. Just shade below and I'm done. But now I've got one more. What's going on with this bottom one?
I need to fix it.
We gotta fix it. So we got a few things we gotta fix. Where do we want the Y?
In the bottom.
So let's put it on the other side. How do you move it? Add it. Add it. What's on the right side now?
Why?
Right side.
4.
4. What's on the left?
Y plus 2x.
Okay, better. You got the Y in the right spot.
2x.
Minus the 2x. Minus the 2x. What's on the left side now?
4 minus 2.
Why?
Left. Y.
Oh, Y. Oh my god.
How about my symbol?
Y'all know why.
Fixed.
Should it be a greater than or a less than?
Getting mad.
Less than? No.
Greater than. I do not flip it. I did not divide by a negative. Now, what's on the right?
Minus 2x plus 4.
Minus, I like the order that Nicole said that in, minus 2x plus 4. Perfect. Now we graph it. How do I graph it?
I got this. Alright. You go up.
Yep, Winnie?
Would you go down 2 and over 4?
Okay, we gotta look at that y-intercept first.
Oh my god.
It'd be
Go to
up
4.
4.
Go to positive 4.
Go to positive 4,
Up 4 and then
put a dot.
down.
Now what?
Down 2 over 1.
Which way are you over?
2.
To the right. We got enough room. We can do that a couple times.
And wouldn't it be a dotted line as well?
Now, does it look like... Doesn't look like these lines are gonna cross. I mean, I didn't draw the other one perfect, but looks like we have 2 lines that they don't cross.
So no solution.
Well, let's see. Well, I can tell they don't cross now because look at the slope. -2, -2, same slope. So they're not going to cross. Where do I shade on this one?
Nowhere. It's enough solution.
I mean,
What's this symbol tell me?
yeah.
Above.
Nowhere. Wrong.
So where is the solution?
There's no.
There isn't one. This is kind of like the last one we did, except the gap is kind of on an angle. Now, how could there be a solution? What would have to happen? If the signs were flipped, where would the solution be? Right in the middle. Okay? But this one's saying shade below, this one's saying shade above. There is no overlap. Okay? So don't just always go like this and shade in the middle and say, oh, there's my answer.
That's not the answer.
No, not this time. Okay? It could be in the test, but it won't. It's not on this one.
How about that over?
Oh yeah, we got one more.
Please.
Okay. Any questions on? All right. Last one. So this, you guys already noticed, last one had no solution. Okay, we already did that. All right. It's the last thing. So the last part, you got some steps on your guided notes to fill in. These will be the last thing we write.
Oh.
So in order to do this backwards, okay, if I give you a problem like this, and you're going to have one just like this on the test, and I'm going to ask you to tell me the equations that made this picture, okay? First thing you have to do is find the equation of the line. Okay, again, if you already know what B and M are, you don't have to keep writing them. But if you don't remember, B is the y-intercept, M is the slope.
It's always a good idea to keep writing.
Yep, never hurts to write it again. Sometimes it helps you remember it.
Yeah, you said it's on
Up and to the right, positive. Down and to the right, negative. So you got to decide, okay, what's the equation of my line? So you're going to have to look at the picture and find those 2 things. Then you have to figure out, should it be a less than, a greater than, a less than or equal to, or a greater than or equal to? How are you going to figure that out? You look at the picture. Look at your chart. And you look at the picture. If it's shaded above, that tells you something. If it's shaded below, that tells you something. If it's a solid line, that tells you something else. If it's a dotted line, that tells you something else. So look for the shading, look if it's solid or dotted, and that should be enough information to figure it out. Step 3, I'm not sure you need to write that because that doesn't... I don't really think step 3 makes sense there. I'm not really sure what we're getting at. So step 2, you find your equation, determine your symbol, and you're good. Okay? So just write steps 1 and 2. Okay, does everybody have steps 1 and 2? Okay, you know what? Let me leave them up there while we do the example. Now, when they shade, the way you can tell where the overlap is, well, you tell me, where do you think the overlap of the shadings is? Yeah, the bottom right. This is where they overlap. Okay. So let's look at the vertical line. That's a special case. What is the only letter when you write the equation of a vertical line? It's just a single letter. Yep. Y is your horizontal.
Oh, so
X.
So it's on the 3.
So X. And now look at the vertical line. Did they shade? Well, actually, you know what? Tell me the next thing. Where is the vertical line? You look at your guided notes. What number is it at?
3.
It's at 3.
Dress.
Now, did they shade to the left of the vertical line or to the right?
To the right.
So what symbol means shade right?
Greater than.
Greater than or greater than or equal to?
This way.
Should it be a greater than or a greater than or equal to?
Greater than.
Why?
Because the line is not dotted.
Because it's not dotted. That's the first one. Vertical line at 3, solid, so it's greater than or equal to, and it's to the right. All right. Next one. So this is the first one. Second one. That one goes on an angle. What are the two things you need to write the equation of a line on an angle?
Slope and y.
All right, let's find both of them. What's my y-intercept?
2.
2. What's my slope? Let's just use these 2 points.
I can't see.
Let's see. It doesn't look like it's quite on it. It's a little bit off, but you know what? On the test, it's going to be perfect. So let's just assume it goes to that point right there.
So it'll be 2, 3.
So what's my slope? Slope, remember, slope's not a coordinate. No, it's not 2/3. Look at that line. Which way does it go?
Horizontal.
Negative 2/3. Down 2. Right, 1, 2, 3. Okay. We've got the slope. We've got the y-intercept. Now, what letter is by itself on the left?
Y.
Y. Let's fill in the rest of it. Don't worry about the symbol yet. What's going to go on the right side? Negative 2/3. We lost something. Negative 2/3. X. Got to have the X. Plus 2. I like that. Now, did we shade above or did we shade below?
Below.
Below. What kind of symbol is below?
Negative. Less than or equal to.
Could be a less than or equal to, or could be a less than. Which is it this time?
Less than or equal to.
Less than.
Why?
If the line is not dotted.
Not dotted.
Because it's not dotted. Okay, and I just looked at the test this morning. There's definitely one of those on the test. And it looks just, actually, that's from the test generator. It looks just like it. Okay. Okay. Any questions on that one? All right. So I think towards the second half, things went a little better. I mean, I get it. It's end of the year. It's muggy. It feels kind of hot in here. But just stay with it. The quicker we get through this stuff, the more time you guys have to put on other stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. So just some reminders in case you don't remember the period from tomorrow. Okay, we have class tomorrow, but the periods are different. Okay? Periods tomorrow are 5, 6, 1, 2, 3.
Like, is that a stop?
Okay, guys, please let me finish this, all right? On Wednesday, We do not have class. The periods are just a normal day, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, normal day after MCAS is over. We will go over the test review Thursday before the test. Last test this year, Thursday. We're going to start getting ready for the final on Friday. Our final exam is June 7th. If we can start Thursday, we'll try to start Thursday, but I have to double check that.